Os valores de liberdade e independência foram tão preponderantes na formação da nação americana como na constituição de movimentos religiosos como o Adventismo.
America's revolution in the late 18th century implanted this idea of being suspicious of monarchies, of emperors, of powers, of higher authorities in ecclesiastical organizations or in government. And so Americans who were attracted to Adventism were also suspicious of organizations that exercised heavy top-down control. By the time that the Adventist Review began publishing, a discussion sprang up within a few years about whether we needed even some form of church organization. Many of the review readers said absolutely not.
Why were they opposed? Well, they had just come out of the Millerite movement. And in the Millerite movement, their belief in the soon coming of Jesus has caused the normal churches, the regular churches, Methodists, Baptists, Christian Connection, whoever it might be, to reject them. And so those were churches, they thought, that had a creed and were formal and like Babylon.
Porque no início de 1844, George Storrs diz que nenhuma igreja pode ser organizada por vontade humana sem que se torne Babilônia no momento de sua organização. Então havia uma resistência a qualquer forma de organização e até mesmo a escolha de um nome.
But James White said no. And Ellen White said, no, this is different. We're organizing with a mission.
Once it became clear to our church, and our prophet Ellen White was invaluable in guiding the churches. Once it became clear that we had a global responsibility in mission, that we had to take this around the world, it also became clear to us that we must have an organization which is equally globally. Because we have to hold together, we have to be sure that we stay as one family.
So why did we organize? This is a question people have asked. What caused us to organize? Well, it was James White really who was much the leader in this. And it really is a convergence of issues. Perhaps the immediate issue was the publishing work.
A nossa editora estava em nome de Tiago White. E se ele morresse, o que aconteceria? Então ele queria colocar isso em nome da igreja. Só que para colocar em nome da igreja não tem como registrar uma editora em uma igreja sem nome. Então foi exatamente o fato de nós organizarmos a obra de publicações, ou mais especificamente a nossa editora, que levou à escolha de um nome, que forçou esse processo e que acabou ocorrendo no dia 1º de outubro de 1860.
The other issues that were affecting us were the rapidly approaching Civil War. And of course, as we moved into the Civil War, the need to organize made it possible for us to represent the church. And then a third thing was the group was big enough. There were so many ministers. At first, James White was just passing money to people, saying, well, you need some money, here's some money. But he couldn't get money to all the right people, and so there were people who were hungry and their families were hungry. They didn't have a system to make it work.
A necessidade de uma estrutura que conduzisse o movimento tornava-se não apenas evidente, mas urgente.
When they formed the General Conference in May of 1863, now exactly 150 years ago, they concluded that while they would have a president, he would have only a one-year term. They would have a strong committee, and the church would really effectively be run by committees rather than individuals. They believed that power distributed in the group was safer for God's people. And there's good reason for that. Today, when you walk in the General Conference building, I often take visitors down to the main floor and look up at the atrium, they call it. And I say, what is the most prominent architectural feature you see in this building? And they say, committee rooms. And I say, precisely.
É difícil a gente ter um só modelo, mas nós fomos uma fusão, praticamente, entre o modelo metodista, de ter uma associação geral, e também presbiteriano um pouco, e houve eu creio que uma convergência de diferentes modelos, e foi mais uma decisão pragmática. e não tão teórica. Agora nós vamos estudar os modelos organizacionais existentes e vamos optar por um. Eu acho que foi mais uma questão, nós precisamos de alguma coisa que nos integre, que nos mantenha juntos e vamos fazer dessa maneira. Então houve essa fusão de diferentes modelos, com pastores itinerantes, uma característica do metodismo. Depois você tem essa questão de eliminar do rol de membros da igreja, ou seja, manter um registro, uma coisa mais séria nesse sentido, e você tem as associações e essa integração geral. Então é um modelo, eu creio que fusão de vários e que se tornou singular para nós. Não tem outra igreja igual.
Adventism is, I would say, virtually unique. There may be one or two others like it, but it is virtually unique among major world faiths for its unified structure worldwide. Most other Christian faiths have adopted very regional systems in which the church in one country or the church in one region is largely autonomous. It may have friendly relationships with the church in another country. They may federate on certain things, but they run their own life internally. Adventism said from the first that because the truth of Scripture calls for one body, that worldwide expression of the faith that grew up from Scripture needed to be connected in a unique way.
And I think the Seventh-day Adventist Church's structure globally is the envy of many other churches. I mean, there are ministers of other churches, for example, our tithing system and our sharing of resources, who've said to me when I was president many times, I wish our church had a system like yours, where we share resources and where our members are much more involved financially in the life of the church. We do this globally, and that is made possible because of the fact that we have both the conviction that this is God's plan, but the fact that we are a global organization that holds together.
A cada ano, a Conferência Geral dos Adventistas do Sétimo Dia se reúne em duas ocasiões diferentes. Os líderes mundiais da igreja, também chamados de delegados, representando as 13 divisões por onde a igreja está espalhada, se reúnem para votar em assuntos importantes da igreja, ouvir relatórios e também discutir assuntos sobre o regulamento da igreja. A maior parte do tempo eles passam assim, em reuniões. Mas é daqui também que saem os votos que vão influenciar não apenas a divisão que eles representam, mas também a Igreja Mundial.
That is the heart of the Seventh-day Adventist understanding of governance. If you cannot persuade other people of the merits of your ideas will go nowhere in this church. If you cannot work with a committee, you will not have influence. This church is founded on the principle of us.